For an archaeologist, every little thing found buried within the dirt or concealed in the form of fossilized remains has meaning. While huge finds, such as cities complete with streets and water cisterns, are undoubtedly exciting and valuable finds, so too is the discovery of a solitary rock bearing a message that changes the perception of history in the region. Archaeologists are experts at interpreting even the smallest fragment found at a dig site and then applying the significance of that artifact to the history of the region. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be diving into 3 recent archaeological finds and what they meant for our understanding of ancient history and how people lived and worked all those centuries ago. Long-lost ancient kingdom discovered. Unearthing incredible historical artifacts and surprising remains from underneath farmland and cityscapes is just part of the job of an archaeologist. And while this alone is pretty amazing, every now and then a discovery is made that stands to change everything that historians thought they knew. One such discovery was made in January of 2021 in the Konya Plain region of Turkey. Archaeologists were working in the nearby area and were in the process of investigating Turkmen Karayahuyuk, an ancient mound site, when they received a tip from a local farmer that a recently dredged canal near where they were working had revealed a curious inscription on a stone that he thought would be worth investigation. When the archaeologists arrived, sure enough, they discovered the stone sticking out of the water and their investigation of it began, although they had no idea what discoveries were in store for them. The stone turned out to date back thousands of years, to the 8th century BCE, and the inscription was written in an ancient Bronze Age language called Luwian. However, it was what the inscribed words said that was truly exciting to researchers and archaeologists. The stone tablet was a stele that told of the military defeat of the ancient Anatolian kingdom Phrygia. Phrygia was the home of the legendary King Midas, who was said to have turned everything he touched to gold, and was immortalized in popular Greek lore. Although there were actually several Phrygian kings called Midas, the mythical king with the golden touch likely ruled around 3,000 years ago, the same time that this newly discovered tablet claimed to have overthrown Phrygia. The victorious message of the stele boasted of the defeat by a king called Hatarpu, and claimed that his forces captured King Midas and delivered him to the opposing king. Although this information is undoubtedly significant for historians and archaeologists concerned with the fate of the famous King Midas, the stone also reveals valuable information about King Hatarpu and his reign, a period of history that is largely ambiguous and mysterious. Thanks to this message boasting of his victorious military conquest, historians now speculate that the capital city of the kingdom may have actually spanned the entire mound of Turkmen Karahayu, experiencing its heyday period around the same time that they conquered neighbouring Phrygia and captured King Midas. If their suspicions are true, further investigation of the mound in the context of what has been discovered should reveal signs and remnants of ancient palaces, monuments and homes that each tell a story about the kingdom ruled over by King Hatarpu, that conquered neighbouring lands and captured the King Midas of legend. But for now, archaeologists are still in the process of conducting preliminary surveys and hope to be able to begin excavation and start learning about what lies under the mound. And just like that, a kingdom that was virtually unknown became much more prevalent due to the words engraved on a stone that happened to have been found due to a dredged canal and a farmer who was in the right place at the right time. Copper Age burial discovered in Russia. The Copper Age was a transitional prehistoric period between the Neolithic Age and the Bronze Age, and was an era that saw the emergence of the first state societies throughout the world as society continued to evolve and humans began organizing themselves in much more complex ways. It marks the time period when, at different points across the world, humans began the transition from stone tools to more complex metalworking. Although this period was relatively rather brief, it was also a time of marked societal change, and historians are always eager to make archaeological discoveries that date back to the Copper Age. Luckily, one such discovery was recently made along a lake in northwestern Russia. Archaeologists searching for undiscovered ancient encampments along the shore of Lake Onega stumbled across something unexpected, an elaborate burial site for a Copper Age hunter. However, what made this find so significant wasn't so much the hunter himself, rather it was what he was buried with. Decked out in over 100 amber buttons that were organized so densely that they formed 2 rows, the hunter was also covered in red ochre and flint chips dating back about 5,500 years. A discovery of this nature is incredibly unique and significant, as nothing like the burial site, with its astonishing number of amber pendants, ornaments, and buttons, has ever been found in Eastern Europe before. Because similarly styled graves generally only have a few amber ornaments for even the most high-ranking graves, archaeologists knew that this burial was incredibly significant. Additionally, the methods of the burial itself were strange. It seemed that the man had been slid into a tight hole and then had small flint chips scattered over his body. Some of the researchers studying the grave believe that these strange, small chips served as a type of offering, symbolizing much larger flint tools and weapons. Additionally, there are no known flint sources in this region, so the man must have belonged to a society that engaged in trade with other regions of the world that had access to such resources. Based on the number of amber objects and the flint, researchers speculate that the Karelian people of the region may have been trading with the tribes that inhabited the southern shore of the Baltic Sea. As far as the buried man himself, archaeologists know that he was clearly a man of incredibly high social status due to the rarity and value of his burial objects. However, they are less certain about what significance he had within the context of the people who lived in the area at the time. Perhaps he was the leader in a long-distance trading route that specialized in the rare amber artifacts that his burial site was laden with, and had come to the region in order to trade amber for the slate that was so common in the region. What is certain is that this mysterious man can certainly tell us valuable information about the Copper Age in the region, and further studies will inevitably be conducted of both his initial gravesite and the surrounding area. Ancient settlement uncovered in Egypt. Finding amazing historical artifacts is not a rare occurrence for Egypt, but archaeologists in the region have recently uncovered something momentous even by Egyptian standards in the form of a 2,300-year-old settlement. The settlement was uncovered in Alexandria and dates back to the 2nd century BC. Although the remains were only recently found and still have to be thoroughly studied, initial analysis appears as though the buried remains will be a veritable treasure trove for Egyptologists. Preliminary findings suggest that the region served as a residential and commercial hub, with an organized main road and branching adjacent streets. The streets were also connected by a well-organized sewage network and plumbing of sorts, in the form of several wells and water cisterns carved into the rock and crisscrossing throughout the settlement. It appears to have been in use for a period of approximately 600 to 700 years, spanning the late Ptolemaic period and entering the middle of Roman rule. Experts immediately claimed that, upon initial inspection, it seemed that the area that has been unearthed thus far acted as a city centre and contained a likely bustling market and workshops, as well as votive and sculpture shops. Artifacts found around the area stand to give archaeologists even more information about what life was like in the settlement, as well as who might have lived and worked in the well-designed streets all those centuries ago. Among the artifacts are over 700 ancient coins, as well as an alabaster statue, amulets, and an amphorae, a characteristic Roman style of jar. Archaeologists and Egyptologists alike count discoveries of this nature increasingly valuable, as most information about how the ancient people lived and worked only survives through the archaeological record, especially when it comes to learning about those ordinary citizens who were not prominent enough to have surviving written records featuring them. Especially noteworthy is the potential to learn about the lives of the common tradesmen in the settlement who walked the well-worn streets through the centuries as the city left one historical age and entered another. This transition and its effects on the economy and working class likely survives in some form hidden in the archaeological record of the settlement. However, for now, answers are still forthcoming as researchers carefully dig through the ancient remains, diligently cataloguing each artifact discovered for further study. Only time will tell what information this incredible discovery will unveil in the future, and what it could mean for our understanding of history in the Egyptian region. But what do you make of these recent discoveries? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.